你们中国人给我听着，我从今天开始见一个打一个，哪天打不了中国人，我就浑身难受。叫你们中国擂台上的小丑提着头来见我，不打死你们算我辜负老兵爷爷。你们这些东亚病夫，打他！注意看，眼前这个嚣张的日本人，扬言见一个中国人打一个，还说打死中国人孝敬辱华的老兵爷爷。此人在擂台上极度肮脏卑鄙，在和中国选手比赛时，不讲擂台规则，强行掰断了中国小将的手臂。然而这还不是最丧心病狂的事情，他竟把失去意识的中国选手脖子拧断，简直是罪大恶极。此人是来自高耀国的青木真也，自幼跟随辱华老兵老爷爷成长，耳濡目染之下培养出了狼子野心，其擅长的巴西柔术强悍之极，更是曾在2018年获得日本的双冠金腰带。凶狠毒辣的手段让很多对手的望而却步，完全没有一点礼义廉耻。都说日本人有小节而无大义，当面一套背地里一套，我看他们也就是秋后的蚂蚱蹦不长了。正所谓天狂自有人收，抗日奇侠李显龙就是这个日本狂人的克星。李显龙是来自四川的格斗小将，祖孙3代都是光荣入伍。在18岁入伍后，苦练身体素质，受到了连长的赏识和推荐，最后在退伍后走上了职业格斗的道路。虽然年龄只有22岁，但已经获得了22场战斗、22场胜利和9次 KO 的好成绩，而这9次 KO 的对手全部都是日本选手，让人直呼过瘾。在比赛前，众多媒体预测李显龙胜算不足1成，可李显龙却很平静。他表示自己在面对日本人时血脉觉醒，总能发挥出200%的实力，最终的目的就是让5星红旗插满高耀国的格斗擂台。老铁们支持抗日奇侠李显龙，长按点赞3秒为他加油鼓劲。话不多说，接下来我们正式进入比赛。青木真也的目的十分明确，直接把李显龙带入地面格斗绞杀。其实这家伙从小就有变态的嗜好，那就是在地面伤害他人，以此来填补变态且空虚的内心。李显龙显然是有备而来的，毕竟有这样一个阴险狡诈的对手，可无意中还是被足钩绊倒。他快速起身进行防身，在中日擂台的赛场上是很残酷的，经常是非死即残的结果，一定要小心谨慎才好。
Drops down the forearm on Christian Lee, the young phenom on his back early in the opening round.
See, it's hard to tell what Shin Aoki's going to do because you never quite know because he's so unorthodox. He could be choosing to go after the legs at this point, but right now he's trying to isolate.
日本选手不愧是柔术冠军，在缠斗中拿到了更深的7成位。李显龙用身体力量拼死挣扎，挣脱了束缚，但他却丝毫不敢大意，一定要寻找机会，重新回到地面才好。李显龙到现在还在拼死搏斗，虽然胳膊一直被锁住，但仍旧拼着剧痛站立起身，可日本选手却像是看见了苞米地里面的寡妇，不断起身上前压迫。手臂没能支撑2人体重，再次被日本选手拿到了7成把位。现在这种情况对李显龙是很不利的，想要摆脱控制简直是不可能的，只能双臂紧紧护着头部。
Where the boa constrictor starts to go to work, slowly, methodically improving his position, isolating that arm. Here come the elbows.
Drops the elbow, trying to lock the ear off there of Christian Lee. Aoki will take his time. Aoki will find the openings again, drops the elbow across the top lip of Christian Lee. Drops the elbow again. Aoki's a nasty martial artist. He'll set it get well led into a hyper contract just for the hell of it. And again, hits his mark, drops the elbow between the arms, and again from Aoki. In full mount here of Christian Lee. And Aoki just finding the openings niche.
中国选手的意志力十分强大，从始至终都承受着对手7成位的进攻。然而百密总有一疏，他一直期待的机会终于到来了，依靠拦网腰部发力，试图反压制对手，不料手臂却被青木真也瞬间拿住，并做出了手臂十字固的招式。
I don't know where I'd rather be in prison or I'd rather be on the bottom of Shinya Aoki. It is a horrible place to.
其实从整体局势来看，李显龙从始至终被日本选手地面压制，对抗过程中消耗了大量的体力，但他却拥有强大的意志力，从来没有一刻松懈的想法。 这才让日本的柔术冠军没有做出成功的锁技，只要抗住这一波攻势，李显龙还是有很大胜算的。李显龙在地面不断思考反击的方式，抽出胳膊肘击砸向对手，但无奈对手其成为的控制天衣无缝，想要挣脱基本上是不可能的。此时二人的缠斗越来越靠近狼王，裁判为了安全让二人以同样姿势重回擂台，可日本选手却不愿意撒手，完全是卑鄙小人。其实李显龙作为拳坛新星，虽然格斗经验不足，但他却看透了日本人只会这一招，只要扛过这回合比赛，下回合就很有机会翻盘。
First round. Taking so many great names over the years, the likes of Kazushi Sakuraba, the great one, Yuki Yamamoto, Cody Stevens, Tetsu Boku, Mizuta Hirota, Yoki Hansen, that one from Dream 11, the list goes on.
李显龙心中一直憋着一股火，在日本选手准备砸拳的空档，瞬间双手用力推翻对手，瞬间起身占据了主动权。日本选手实力是有的，但也没多少东西。李显龙已经摸清楚了对手的套路，那么离 KO 对手也就不远了。
Seconds of the opening round, that'll give some confidence, a little bit of pepper in the step of Christian Lee, especially surviving the armbar of the Bucker Survivor. 1 down, 4 to go. We're live from Singapore.
Christian's got to stay away from that body lock. That's when the trouble starts, is when Shinya's able to clasp his hands and then just maneuver your weight. It's like he's driving you. He just kind of tilts and he turns and he disrupts your balance and eventually...
此时第一回合比赛结束了，李显龙显得十分被动。虽然日本选手狂妄狡诈，但该说不说地面技巧还是很出色的。正所谓一力降十会，李显龙只需要在第二回合利用自己的体能优势，主动寻求突破才能反转局势。
that he survived that round. He's doing what his past 4 opponents could not do, and that was get out of the very first round with Tobi Katsuda and Shinya Aoki.
We're ready to rock and roll. Second round set for 5 for the World Lightweight Championship. Defending champion Shinya Aoki. Ready? Round
第二回合比赛一开始，青木真也这个老狐狸想要故技重施，然而他的骚操作已经被一一识破了。李显龙认为终结比赛的时机到了。
Christian Lee as he rushes forward with some hands.
Christian Lee comes in 11-3, 7 off just 4 submissions. 100% finishing rate. Comes in off back-to-back first round wins of his own over Kazuki Tokadome and Edwin Calico.
50-50 position, one hand under, one hand over the arms. Now we're going to see Shinya Aoki start to turn. He's going to start to create a little bit of chaos. Good job by Christian Lee. I'd like to see Christian Lee wait for Shinya to come to him. You know what?
推开青木真也之后，连续重拳轰击，把日本选手直接打到倒地不起，眼冒金星。中国选手李胜龙打出了自己的风采，甚至让现场的日本美女都喜极而泣，用实力征服了这个舞台，也让5星红旗再次插在了日本的擂台之上。大家对李显龙的比赛有什么想法？欢迎评论区留言讨论，下期更精彩。